We will bring you all the goals, and if you're lucky, a couple of goofballs. Don't bring that stuff in our house. And you know what? Occasionally, even we have technical difficulties. Wait, somebody broke the tripod. Mask up, because I told you we will show you the goals. Hey, look what I found. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. And a little tripod issue last night at the basketball game. It was very good. But credit Dave Emme for taking the brunt of the work after putting the camera up on his shoulder.
Well, you know, he's a professional. He does that kind of thing. But it was nice. I love that the referee came running over and added some assistance. Much appreciated. But
Minnesota nice. What do you expect?
How exciting is it that we have a very full show because
I like it.
Everybody's playing and everybody's back on.
Which is great. So which means we have to probably fly through this one.
Just a little bit. We are going to start with the boys hockey team. They've been busy due to a schedule change. They had a game on Tuesday this week, so 3 games since last we sat on the desk. On Thursday, they traveled to the Champlain Ice Forum to face a Rebels team coming off its first win of the season. Rebels lost 5 straight before breaking through against Spring Lake Park on Tuesday. They've given up a lot of goals to start this year, but they can also fill the net offensively. And they carried momentum from their 8-goal win over the Panthers right into the ice against the Cardinals. Champlain Park with a lot of pressure in the first. O'Hanlon able to make his save in close. He stopped 22 of 24 in the opening period. Cardinals were able to generate some chances in the first as well. Puck worked down low, but Koval is shut down on the short angle. Eventually, though, the pressure pays off as the Rebels get a bounce. Puck thrown on net by Nolan Peterson goes off O'Hanlon, off a defender, and into the net, puts the Rebels on the board. They had a power play goal late in the period. Hogan Sinjam able to walk to the top of the slot and beat O'Hanlon with a wrister. Champlain Park added 4 goals in the first 4 minutes of the second and took complete control of the contest. Cardinals do get on the board with a 5-on-3 power play. Dominic Espinoza to Nathan Clark for the redirect. Clark's 6th of the season. The Rebels scored shorthanded just 9 seconds later, however, and then the Cardinals get another on the advantage. Nick Espinoza pokes in a rebound. Wide open cage, his first career varsity goal in their power play. Got a lot of work. Champlain Park's Jack Bergstrom got a 5-minute major for this hit from behind on Jordan Blakowiak. They had another full 2 minutes, 5-on-3 to the Cardinals, but they weren't able to break through again. They created some traffic, but in the end, the hole was way too big to dig out of, and they lose 7-2.
Yeah, to say the boys hockey team having a rough season is maybe an understatement. They really are. But if you take some bright spots out of that, the fact that they didn't have running time,
they did not have running time,
which was good. Got a couple of goals, which was good.
2 power play goals.
I was going to say 2 power play goals. Nick Espinoza got his first goal of his varsity career. So there are some things to take out.
And you take 4 minutes off of the start of that second period, and it's a 3-2 game.
I agree. I mean, all of a sudden they're down 6-0, and they're a huge hole to dig out of again.
Yeah, and you can't have any lapses in this conference at any time, even for 4 minutes throughout a game. On Saturday, they finally came home. A long home stretch for the Cardinals. They've earned it after 6 of their first 7 on the road. Totino Grace came in and took their first victory against the Cardinals, beating the Cardinals 6-0. 2 goals in each period. Shots on goal 51-10 in favor of Totino Grace. Gavin O'Hanlon made 45 saves, but the Cardinals get blanked. And then on Tuesday, a rescheduled game against Blaine. And they were outshot 30-6 in the first period against the Blaine Bengals. It was 6-1 after the first, ends in a 9-1 Bengal win. Cardinals fall to 0-9. And yeah, it's
tough. It's a tough season. There's no doubt about
it. And they do get to see a couple of teams coming up that are they have a stretch coming up. Not their next game, but then they play a stretch where they're going to see Spring Lake Park and Anoka kind of back-to-back 4 games between those 2 teams. And that's a stretch they must try and find some momentum for. On Saturday, they're having their senior night against Centennial. Centennial's tough. That's going to be a tough one to play. But after that, they hope that they can find, they got to get take all the positives they can from what they've done so far and channel it into that 4-game stretch and hopefully come up with 1 or 2 wins.
A victory would be huge for this program right now.
Goals are big.
Yeah, goals are big, but a victory would be huge.
Well, and Nick Espinoza, I forgot to mention, against Blaine, Nick Espinoza had his second goal, the only goal for the
Excellent.
Cardinals.
Well, the girls took the ice as well.
They did.
The Bluebirds faced ranked teams in 4 of their first 6 games this season. On Saturday, they hosted a team a bit more manageable. Anoka Spring Lake Park was 1-4-1 and had similar results against those top-tier teams. This would be an opportunity for one of these teams to gain position toward the bottom of the bracket by scoring their second win of the season. Stormcats open the scoring shorthanded. Heather Sager pokes it away from Delaney Johnson. She's off to the races, beating Mayer with a wrist shot to the far side to give Anoka SLP the 1-0 lead. But Champlain Park Coon Rapids evens it up before the end of the first. Brooke Del Castillo with a steal at center ice, skates it in, scores short side of keeper Annika Olsen, fighting Bluebirds with better chances, 1-1 after 1. CPCR gets the lead in the second. Erica Thiessen's shot blocked to the corner. Brooklyn Johnson recovers and finds Abby Peterson in the slot. Senior captain gets her first of the season, gives her team a 2-1 lead. Just 30 seconds later, Kylie Scott from the boards throws it in on net. It pinballs between Olsen's pad. All of a sudden, a little breathing room for the home team. They were shorthanded 9 times in the game, but still controlled the tempo. Molly Carabeza circling the zone. She snipes it top shelf, giving the Fighting Bluebirds a 3-goal lead, less than 5 minutes left in the third. And Delaney Johnson adds to it less than 90 seconds later. She splits the defense and scores on the breakaway, shorthanded. The PK was nearly perfect, giving up a power play goal into the final minutes on the Stormcats' 9th opportunity. Fighting Bluebirds, they skated away with a 5-2 win. Nice win for them.
Well, the Bluebirds looked to make it 2 in a row when they traveled to New Hope on Tuesday to take on the Armstrong Cooper Wings. The Wings were winless and had just 6 goals in 7 games. So the Bluebirds knew this was an opportunity they had to take advantage of. Fighting Bluebirds controlled the game start to finish, but no score until the second. Kylie Scott with a great pass to Abby Ness out front. She gets her second of the year, and it turns out to be the game winner. CPCR outshot the Wings 58-12. Finally gets some insurance midway through the third. Kylie Scott trying to pass out front, comes back to her, so she scores on the backhand instead. That gives the Bluebirds a 2-0 lead. Armstrong Cooper goalie did everything she could to keep her team in the game, but the Bluebirds keep hammering away. They add to the lead on the power play. Delaney Johnson from up high gets a shot through traffic and into the net. CPCR squad takes care of business with a 3-0 win, gives them their first win streak of the season.
58 shots on goal. That's pretty impressive, and I'm sure Coach Coltis loved the fact that he was seeing that kind of production.
That goaltender was busy, and
really
she came
busy.
up huge.
Yeah, she
only
did.
At 3-0.
Yep, absolutely.
When you see 50-plus shots and you only gave up 3 goals, she had a great game, but a big win. They need those, especially in, for any team at Coon Rapids. The conferences they play in, regardless of the sport, are so difficult that when you have the opportunity against other teams near the bottom of those standings, you have to take advantage of them, and the Bluebirds have done that. Big grudge match coming up on Saturday. They will be the host at the Ice Forum in Champlain when the Blaine Bengals come a-calling, and then they will be at Centennial next Tuesday.
Well, the wrestling team is making up for lost time. They hosted tri-meets on Thursday and Saturday last week, 4 matches in 3 days, including 3 ranked opponents. It started on Thursday with a visit from the Hastings Raiders. The Cardinals almost always schedule Hastings early in the season as a good measuring stick. This year, it put 11th ranked Coon Rapids up against number 15 Raiders. Hastings won the first 5 matches, built a 24-0 lead before Nick Latterly stops the bleeding at 138. Headlock takes his man straight to the back early in the second. Latterly's pin gets the Cardinals on the board, hoping to spark a comeback. Watch this move by Dalen Jones. He rolls himself into control position late in the third period at 145. He isn't able to get the pin, but gets a 13-9 decision to chip away at that big lead. That was a nice move there by Dalen. Unfortunately, wins in the next 2 matches increase the desperation in the upper weights. Good battle by Elijah Madimba at 170 will help him earn a 6-4 decision, but the Cardinals trail 33-12 with only 4 matches left. Alex Kowalczyk will keep the Cardinals' hopes alive with a pin at 182. Starts with a double leg takedown and then wins the upper body battle and forces his man to the mat late in the first, 33-18 at that point. But Hastings will hold on for a 45-24 win.
Their second match of the night was their one conference match of the week as the Cardinals took on Elk River. The Elks have been strong the past few years, challenging the perennial powers for positioning in the Northwest Suburban, but they were no match for the Cardinals this time around. Jaden Lilly making quick work of his man in this one. Midway through the first period at 106, Lilly takes his man straight to his back, hits chest to chest for the pin, and the Cardinals hold the lead throughout. Still close as we get to 138. Nick Lattery will get the team some bonus points. Lattery's pin starts a streak for the Cardinals. Up next, Enoch Medima at 145. He gets his man in the cradle and rolls him over, and then just rocks him to sleep. His pin pushes the Cardinals' lead to 24-9. Back-to-back is great. 3 straight is even better. Ahmed Yafa on the mat at 116. He turns his man quickly, getting the Cardinals a first-period pin, and they wouldn't lose another match the rest of the night. See him squeezing the headlock. Top-ranked heavyweight Gavin Layton finishes the match with another pin. He remains undefeated early in the year, and it completes a dominant 63-9 win for Coon Rapids.
I hear this Gavin Layton kid is pretty good.
He is, and I talked to him today. We'll do the Shine the Spotlight, Sportsnight Spotlight on them next week. I got to talk to him and a couple of the other captains, Coach Bob Adams as well. Just really hoping that everybody stays, especially the 2 teams from Coon Rapids that have already lost some time due to pause, wrestling and girls basketball.
Yep.
Hoping that they don't have any more incidences and none of their opponents do, and they can get to finish the rest of the season. But all the wrestlers talked about how exciting it is that they have a chance to have a state tournament this year.
Which is great. Which is
and
so
Gavin
good to
Layton,
see.
a very good chance to be a state champion. He was undefeated all year last year until the championship, and he was leading in the championship match. He is chomping at the bit for a chance to get back there.
And the opponent he lost to, he had beaten twice during the year. So that was even more baffling a little bit. So.
And Nick Lattery, who has been, they're really strong from middleweights up to the top. Nick Lattery, who's been kind of the stopper, is moving all the way down to 132.
Wow.
And he is going to be very dangerous competitor
will.
at 132, as strong as he has been at 138. But a number of good wrestlers. They have 5 guys that went to state last year back on the roster. It could be a very exciting year, and just keeping our fingers crossed that they're able to make it all the way to the end. They tested themselves again on Saturday when they welcomed 2 teams that are ranked. Foley's number 5 at AA. They lost to Foley 38-21. Farmington beat Foley, and so the Cardinals were worried they were going to lose to Farmington. They turn around and they beat Farmington, who's a couple steps behind them at number 14 in AAA. Nick Lattery, Alex Kowalczyk, and Gavin Layton, all-state tournament entrants last year, all 2-0 on Saturday against good, strong opponents. I'm not positive, but I think all 3 of those guys are still undefeated this year. They've been wrestling really well, and they've seen some really good competition, and they are fired up to keep it going.
Yeah, which is exciting. I mean, always a good program that they put out, in the Cardinals, with even though they had the slow start or the delayed start, have really wrestled well.
Well, they are at Blaine on Friday, and they will be at Forest Lake on Saturday. Gymnastics team, this is one that against Osseo, they were hoping to get some girls back. Still waiting on some other girls who have not mended from their injuries. Hoping they can still get some more help before the season is over.
Right.
Hope to shine the spotlight on them here in the next couple of weeks as well. But only a 108 against Osseo. Osseo scored a 118, which makes them a team that you look at when they're scoring in the teens that you want to see if you can take advantage of. You're going to see teams, again, that are going to score in the 130s and 140s, but the Cardinals only able to put up a 108. Aurelia was their leader on the vault and the beam, also their top in the all-around. Cassie Rushmeyer second place finish on the floor, and Lana Vang was second place on the bars. They are at Champlin Park tonight.
Are we doing a single camera shot there tonight? I think we are. Single camera
I did not see that.
Oh, I know we've got one coming up. I thought it was tonight, but I could be wrong. I know we have one coming up.
Look at that. Tune into Joe doesn't pay attention.
And Howie pays half the attention, so between the two of us, we're lost.
So they're at Champlin Park tonight, at Park Center next Wednesday, and they will be at Andover on Saturday the 20th. Swimming and diving team continues the swim right along through this season. A 95-74 victory over Champlin Park. And I don't remember if they won. I don't think they won every single event, but it was like
just about
11 of 12 or 10 of 12.
They've been swimming well.
They're fun to watch. Will Melcha, a first place finish in the 200 free. Tyler Schultz was first in the 200 IM. Ethan Warmack, first place in the 50 free. Jack Simmer, another first place finish off the board. Brian Tran in the 100 free, and Mitch Tronson took first place in the 500 free.
Nice.
In 5:33.44. So
good to see.
They are at Spring Lake Park on Thursday, and then hosting Anoka on Saturday. Nordic team was supposed to ski on Monday, but because of the frigid temps, they have pushed that back to Thursday. So their next event will be Thursday at Bunker Hills. They will be at Greenhaven next Thursday. Alpine ski team got its third race in last week at Wild Mountain, race number 3 of the season. Boys, just the two guys will finish in 12th place. Bone finished in 82nd, and Van Norman right behind him in 83rd. The girls finish in 8th place in race number 3. Sydney Vossen leading the way in 34th place. Shelby Robidoux was 53rd. Hafferman was 62nd. Emily Verbeek in 73rd. Mary Olson in 76th place with a time of 1 minute 28.55 seconds. They're at Trollhagen this week, at Wild Mountain next week, and then I believe it is on to sections for the Alpine ski teams. Girls basketball team, as we talked about, they had lost a couple of weeks because of COVID and shut down for right after their first game. They just before last week they had lost that one game back against Armstrong or against Anoka, but they came back and they got a win against Armstrong on Friday night last week, beating the Falcons 67-58.
It's a nice overtime win for them.
In overtime,
Yep.
Jenny and Tombwe had 18 points. Nicole Post 16. Caitlin Severson had 10. Ella Georgie had 9, and Rowan Tom had 8. And that was a big win for the Cardinals to get early in the year.
It really was, and Friday's win gave the Cardinals good energy coming into play this week. On Tuesday, they hosted the Blaine Bengals. Blaine was coming off back-to-back losses, but they were 3-4 on the season and had 4 girls averaging more than 10 points per game. They would definitely be a challenge for the Cardinals squad. It was a slow start for both teams offensively. Off a miss from Ntombwe, Ella George able to poke the ball to Rowan Tom. She takes it in to score. 1-point game at that point. Cardinals trailing most of the way in this one, but strong defense keeps Blaine from running away. Reagan Van Sluten's running for the rim. Jenny Ntombwe is there, swats it away out of bounds. Ntombwe was big for the Cardinals at both ends. Late in the half, Lexi and Imdyke driving, but Ntombwe there again to shut it down. Still, Blaine leads 28-17 at the break. Cardinals have been stronger in the second half all season, and that trend continues against the Bengals. Ntombwe with a strong move to the lane. She led all scorers with 21 points in the game. Cardinals make it interesting by cutting the lead late in the game. Tom finds Ella Georgie in the corner with an open look. Her three-pointer cut the deficit to 7 with 1:35 remaining. But the comeback is going to fall short. Another three-pointer, this one by Kate Severson in the final seconds. But Blaine holds on for the 50-43 win, dropping the Cardinals to 1-3 on the season.
Still, it's the same thing they've had in all 3 of their losses. Really slow start in the first half, play much better in the second half.
Tough to dig out.
But we've talked about it for years in many different clubs. You can't have a slow start. You can't, as we talked about with the boys hockey team, you can't take 5 minutes off in a game.
No,
it just
you can't. You can't.
The teams are too good up here in the Northwest Suburban. Well, the Lady Cardinals have felt the sting of COVID protocols more than most. They're one of the two teams, as we talked about, that had a 2-week pause due to positive COVID tests. They're back now, and they're trying to make up for lost time. The interruption was frustrating, but they're making the best of the situation and just trying to move forward.
It was great to be back, but it was like starting over.
The Cardinals had just got rolling when they had to hit pause. They had a solid second half in the opener against Park Center, and they were ready for Game 2 when the news came.
It was a little disappointing. We had prepared for an entire week for a big game, and then like 2 hours before we were supposed to leave, they were like, "You're not playing for a week and a half."
A player on the JV team came in contact with the virus at home, and when she came back positive, that meant everything had to shut down.
It was a shocker. It was kind of upsetting because I didn't know exactly if we were ever going to be able to come back because we kept getting positive tests over and over again. But like I said before, we were just trying to keep putting the work outside, doing virtual workouts, just trying to get prepared for if we ever could come back.
In all, 4 players tested positive for COVID. They believe it was contracted at home and not at basketball, but it meant the entire JV and varsity teams had to quarantine.
We couldn't be together, so we had to do virtual meetings, and we did that, and they did. They have a Google Classroom set up, so they do workouts, but it's just not the same. And I think they definitely miss being with each other.
There's only so much you can do to stay in basketball shape during a Minnesota winter. The captains encouraged players to work out as much as possible and get shots anywhere and any way they could. But now they're playing catch-up with the rest of the teams in the league.
But we're definitely really happy to be back. Have to work twice as hard now because everyone else has been playing for the 9 days that we were resting. So we definitely have a lot to prove this year. So yeah, we're just happy to be back.
The Cardinals are encouraged by what they see in practice, and getting the first win of the season definitely helps. But they're determined to improve their gameplay because they believe they're better than what they've shown so far.
I feel like it's all in our heads right now, and we just need to get comfortable, get loose when we're playing in the game, because in practice it's a totally different thing.
The Cardinals are being extra diligent to keep everyone healthy the rest of the way. They're hopeful there will be no more interruptions to the schedule, and they're going to enjoy every day because they know tomorrow is not a guarantee.
Just being able to be with them is going to be a lot of fun the rest of the year. Hopefully we make it through. I hope no other teams have to shut down because it's not fun.
I don't know, it's bittersweet this year because we have to take every day like it could be our last, because it really could. So I'm just trying to, stay positive and savor every moment.
Well, we are as well. It was fun being there last night. You could tell both coaches were a little frustrated with the first half.
Turnovers.
Oh, so
my
many.
gosh, there are so many.
But yeah, it's just so much fun, and so glad that the kids are able to continue to compete. And I don't know, maybe I see it more than most, but to me, it's just such a precious time that you only have such a short time that you can compete and work as a team in that kind of setting, and just making sure that these kids get to experience that is very important.
What I think the biggest thing they take is that they can't take this for granted because with the pandemic going on, they didn't know for sure if they were going to play.
Right.
And last year, the year before, it's a given they're going to play, but they didn't know, and the fact that they get this extra time is
so
amazing.
Happy.
Yeah,
so happy.
Absolutely.
And we're going to keep it going. They will be hosting Centennial on Thursday. They'll be at Anoka next Wednesday.
Well, after a convincing victory over Anoka on Tuesday, the boys basketball team came home on Friday looking for a little revenge. They lost to Armstrong exactly 2 weeks earlier, and even though they lost senior point guard Armonte Henry to an injury in practice, the Cardinals hope the home court and some added experience might help them turn the tide against the Falcons in the second time around. Tight game early with both teams filling the basket. Cardinals in transition to get to Peyton Himley in the corner, and he's going to hit the three. When they needed everybody scoring to keep pace with the Falcons, Ellington with a nice look from the same corner. This one won't go, but good pressure inside, and MJ Galma gets the putback. He finished with 11 for the Cardinals. But it's not all about the offense. Defense is the key for these Cards. Jordan Doe jumps the passing lane here, and the Cards are off the races. Elijah Smith finishing at the other end. More points in transition, quickly up court and fired from long range by Griffin Tom. Great follow by Ellingson, able to take it strong to the paint for the points, and it's a 1-point game at the half. Cardinals trailing but keeping it close throughout. Elijah Smith able to get this floater to go off the glass. He led all scorers with 25 on Friday night. We moved to late in the second, 10-point deficit. Smith kicks it out to Ellingson for a big three, but the Falcons always seem to have an answer. Nice shot there. Just 75 seconds left. Another big three for this one from Jordan Doe. It's all close it would get. Armstrong able to top the Cardinals for the second time this year. 72-64 would be the final.
Yeah, and it's tough to win in this league. And it's night after night. On Tuesday, the Cardinals were at Blaine, and it was similar story to the girls and similar story we've seen from the boys team in the past. Dug themselves in a big hole.
Down by 14.
Dominated the second half.
Yeah, I was texting a little bit.
Too little, too late.
With Coach O today, and
four guys in double digits. Yeah. They come up 3 points short.
He said they were so close, and the fact that they dig themselves out of the hole made it more difficult for them. But just to finish down by 3, he said they had the opportunities at the end, but just unfortunately couldn't finish.
Well, it's finishing early. It's hitting free throws.
Yep.
It's for the hockey team staying out of the penalty box and capitalizing on power plays. All of those things, and just not taking off even 5 minutes. You can't take a shift off at in any sport at this level. You just can't.
You can't do it.
They are at Centennial on Thursday and will host Anoka next Wednesday.
A lot of good action. We had a lot to show you tonight. It was fun.
Well, and we will continue to stay busy here. We are doing a wrestling live stream on Friday for the Bengals-Cardinals matchup. Boys hockey team, that's senior night again from the Crick at 7 o'clock on Saturday. And then girls hockey on Tuesday next week at Centennial, the beautiful new rink, home of the Cougars.
Should be fun.
But that is going to do it for this edition of Sportsnight. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young, saying good night.